Hello.
All right, Rad, you ready? Thank you. All right, I'd like to call the meeting of June 23rd, 2022 to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Baldowski. Here. Ms. Favolovich. Present. Mr. Itkin.
Here.
Ms. Quackenbush. Mr. Rosenberg.
Here.
And Mr. Banta.
Here. Ron, Mark, and who else is missing?
Julie.
Oh, Julie, all have family commitments tonight. That's why they're not here. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of the public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Fair Lawn Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having a date, time, and place thereof, distributed to the persons on the approved list, posted in the Board of Education Administrative Office, and sent to the Bergen Record and Star Ledger. The announcement posting for the regular monthly meeting, along with the date, time, and place thereof, was distributed on January 18, 2022. Items to be discussed during closed work session on June 23rd may include personnel matters, student matters, legal matters, negotiations, and/or grievances, and tactics and techniques utilized in protecting public safety and property. The results of these discussions will be made public as soon as possible. Would you join me in a flag salute, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to the superintendent for comments, and we have some special guests here tonight, which he will fill us in on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Banta. Everybody hear me okay? Good? Okay. Yeah, so tonight we have a special night that we do every year. I think COVID threw a curveball the last couple of years on this night, but this is the honoring of the 25-year recipients. Several of our teachers and staff members that have been working in Fair Lawn for 25 years. So let's give them a round of applause. To work in one place in a profession like education for 25 years, being an educator for 20 plus years myself, it's not easy. You give it your all. You give it your all day in and day out, at night, Sunday nights writing lesson plans, over the summer stressing out about supplies and what September is going to be like. Yesterday I just read an article about teachers coming out of college. Many of you may have saw it, but one of the profound statements in there about younger teachers coming out of college and how it's not about stability and how it's about mobility and how they move from district to district. That's not you sitting here in front of us. You've given your all to Fair Lawn Schools, and we are forever grateful for that. Our children have been lucky. Our schools are the schools they are because of you and because you're in the classrooms day in and day out. So we are forever grateful for everything that you've done. I'm going to read off your names here, and then we have a little token of our appreciation for you as well. Bonnie Constantine. Deanna Cuevas. Deborah Kempen. Lorianne Kuipers. Jean Lowler. Deborah Amundsen. Jane Remshak. Barbara Skopak. and Cheryl Warner-Jaffe. Thank you not only to you, but to your families, your spouses, your children, because this is maybe it looked like a 10-month job, may look like an 8 to 3 job. It's going to be the furthest thing from the truth. This is a 24/7 job. Your families are often on the receiving end of that. I know that just from being at home and my wife working in corporate America and trying to explain to her what we do day in and day out. It's not easy. So this reward is for as much as it is for them, it's for you as well. So thank you for sharing them with us. Thank you for allowing them to be teachers here in Fair Lawn and staff members here. We truly appreciate it. So I'm going to actually hand out the awards. I'll use my teacher voice. While I give them to you, if you could just stand up here, I want to take a nice picture together. Deborah? Congratulations. Thank you. Bonnie? Gloria? Carol? That's important. Good, good. And I don't believe Barbara's here. Barbara's changed the name. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Please, let's give them all a round of applause. You're fresh off the school year ending about 6 hours ago. As much as all of you would probably love to stay for the board meeting tonight, I'm sure you want to start your summer off, not spending it with us. We could be in here for some time, so if you want, you're more than welcome to stay. We're going to take a minute or two break so you guys can enjoy your summer the right way, not with us. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Congratulations. See you later, guys. Hi, Gabby. How are you, Nick? Thank you. I get it. Trust me. No worries, all right? Huh? Sure, you guys
All right, Nick, you have comments, right?
So, as we wrap up the 21-22 school year, the last couple of weeks have been very special, attending moving up ceremonies, starting with at the last board meeting, I believe it was, we were talking about the child care moving up ceremony, to Edison, to Forest, Lindcrest, Westmoreland, all schools. Was fortunate enough to attend, I believe it was 12 moving up ceremonies and a graduation, and it's just an honor to see it wrapped up last night with Fairlawn High School in the mist, not the rain. I would call it mist last night, but we got through it outside, and it was just, after the years that we've had, the last couple of years, to be able to, witness all of our students and staff members coming together to celebrate and honor our students and our parents there in their own unique ways. And I say that because every school has a ceremony moving up or graduation, but they have their own identities and their own ways of celebrating their students. And it was really just an honor and privilege, and I'm just so happy and wish them all well moving up to either elementary, middle, high school, or post-secondary. And I thank all of you who attended many of the ceremonies and who were there with us. I think we may have a competition between Mr. Rosenberg and Mr. Baldowski in the future on who's going to attend more ceremonies. So, Mike, you better not slow up or spend too much time in the Poconos because he's catching up to you. I'd like to give a huge shout out to our B&G guys, our maintenance guys, our techs that are here tonight. If it wasn't for them, these ceremonies wouldn't be happening. We pivoted during COVID and held ceremonies outside, and one of the things that we learned was how beautiful it was. With that comes a lot more work, where we're not just sitting in an auditorium in the seats that are already there, utilizing the technology that's in the classroom or in a building. So without those guys, we can't thank them enough for what they did to make sure that we pulled off, once again, 12, 13 moving up ceremonies throughout the district. A district our size with 5,600 students, thousands of parents that were accommodated over the last couple of weeks. So thank you for that. And I would be remiss if I did not thank the teachers, the staff, the parents, the community. What they've been through the last couple of years, nobody should go through. We've all felt it. We've all felt that pain. We've all shared that pain. Everybody is tired, they're exhausted, and rightfully so. And I just want to let you know that we thank you as superintendent. We thank you on behalf of the Board of Education. We hope that you enjoy your summer, and you deserve it. And if it wasn't for you, Fairlawn Schools wouldn't be the schools they are. So thank you for that. Last but not least, the mental health page of the website has been updated. So if you go to it, it was updated. We're still going to make a couple tweaks here or there, but we promised you by this board meeting it would be up, and you would be able to check it out so you can see the difference from Tier 1 to Tier 2 to Tier 3, what services we have, who to contact if you had any questions. So we're happy with that. So thank you. Mr. Banta, I believe that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Norcia. At this time, we're going to open the floor to comments from the public on agenda items. So if you have a comment on the agenda's items, please just step up, state your name, and come on up. And there's a sign-in sheet, too.
Hi, I'm Jean Brown. I live on 3rd Street. I just had a comment or a couple questions about underneath Section 10, Finance. I hope it doesn't go away when I touch it. JJ, Approval of Mental Health Service Provider. I noticed that the provider is changing to the Effective School Solutions LLC. Does that mean the Perform Care is being replaced and the Perform Care workers are being replaced in the school?
So the way that we're doing public comments moving forward, just so that you're aware, Jean, thank you for that question and comment, and we will answer it. But we're going to take all your questions up front and anybody else that has them, and then we're going to answer them all at the end. So
Okay.
It's easier, so it's not as much as a back
No,
and forth.
yeah, okay.
Keep
so
going,
then-
rattle
so
them
then
off,
I
and
have
I'm writing them
another
down.
question. That makes it easier.
Yeah.
So, the other question that I had too was, I know a couple months ago I came up and asked about more mental health services provided for the student athletes in our district. So I was also wondering if this, the mental health programs that you guys were revamping and adding on, added extra support for our student athletes, both at the middle school and high school levels too. And that was pretty much it, and now I'm just going to stand awkwardly and sign in.
Okay. Well, we're going to see if there's anybody else that has any questions while they're here, and then we're just going to wrap them all up at once.
Okay.
So really, it's just the Matolas or Craig. Do you have any questions? No? All right. Then, Jean, you could stand there awkwardly, and I will answer them for you.
Okay, great.
The mental health services are going to stay exactly the same
Okay.
as they are this year. Care Plus and Effective School Solutions, the same model we're offering this year is going to be the same model we have next year.
Okay.
We just went out the RFP for it because we use federal funds to pay for a lot of it, so we're required to do it on a yearly basis.
Okay.
In addition, Mr. Franco, myself, Ms. Gupta, our supervisor of counseling and wellness, had a meeting with our mental health providers this week, specifically talking about professional development and trainings that we could offer our staff, our parents, and our students. So we're going to put a complete list together. We're going to give them ideas that we have for the following school year. Probably going to do some surveys too to get some interest
Great.
in topics so
Okay.
that we can roll it out for next year.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say too, I love Miss Kirsty Kilminster at Westmoreland, and I don't ever want her to go away.
Thank you for the plug.
Okay.
And it's on video now, so we got
Thank you very much. Okay. Do we have anybody in board docs or,
Nobody
board, Google?
nobody on Google, nobody on Zoom.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, I now turn it over to board members for comments on the agenda. Rita?
Speak in the microphone.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. The 10H, I think, the file bank, what changed from the original contract approval to what is now?
John?
I believe the original contract approval had less storage. The contract that was approved last year, I think in July, had an estimate about the number of boxes that were going to be stored. When we started taking the boxes in, or when file banks started to come in, and I wasn't here for the initial part, but I was here during the course of the year, I know a lot of offices were very excited to get rid of boxes. And I think there was a lot more files that were being looked to be stored than was initially anticipated. Because it's really comparing the cost from last year to this year, it's the storage of the actual physical boxes that seem to drive the cost up a little bit.
Thank you, John.
And there's no difference in price for them when they scan it or anything like that, correct?
Well, they aren't, the way that the model is set up is that they are taking the boxes and physically storing them at their site. When we are requesting information, they are scanning it and storing it that way. They did scan some of the items initially, but they are going forward scanning the items that we're requesting and basically emailing it to us.
But the price hasn't changed, correct? For
Well,
their-
the price is based off of the co-op, so that, I would have to look back at last year's numbers, but
So I'll jump in real quick. If they have all of our files, for argument's sake, if I need Vladimir Ikin's file, and I call them and I say, can you please scan and send over Vladimir Ikin's file, there will be a bill for that, because we're requesting something in the labor. We don't ask for any files all month, and it just sits there in storage, there's not a charge. But if we're requesting things on a monthly basis, so 1 month, the bill could be a little bit higher than other months, depending on what we're requesting on a monthly basis.
Okay, my last question, I guess I'm a little confused. So last year, if you requested Vlad's files, and this year you asked for Vlad's files, would the price be different if it's the same amount of pages? That's what my question is.
I would hope I wouldn't request the same file 2 years in a row,
Well,
I think she's
but,
the idea, the same number of pages. I'm not
I mean,
trying
if
to-
I'm making them do the work and do it all over again, but when I request a file, they're emailing it to me. So if I request Vlad's file and they email it to him, and I request it again next year, I already have his file emailed to me. So I don't know,
What I mean is like you asked for my file, but it's the same amount of pages, and it's the same amount of work. Is it the same price? That's what I'm trying to get at.
do they charge per scan?
Yeah.
The price go up, she's asking.
Like, you request 10 pages today, and you requested 10 pages last year, would the price be the same? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, I don't know that there's we'll follow that up with them and ask them if there's a inflation in the scan price from last year to this year. We will follow up and ask them that. I can't answer that right now off the top of my head.
I'm done.
Anybody else? Joe? Then Vlad. Vlad? Okay, Joe, then Vlad.
So I just wanted to comment on 10J, which is the purchase of the new gas-powered school bus. I want to thank the administration and superintendent for entertaining the possibility in the future of looking into electric school buses and using the federal Clean School Bus Rebates program that is currently out. I think it's important that we move towards that. For that reason, I will be voting no tonight on that gas-powered school bus, since it is a long-term burden, I believe, in that we're now making sure our fleet is gas-powered for at least another decade and a half. But I look forward to looking more into the electric school buses, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vlad?
Hello. So I have a few questions. Looks like this chair is a little lower. First, I will have to abstain on a few items because I had to miss last month's meeting. So this is monthly minutes, basically. Then I will have to abstain on an item that has to do with health insurance, as usually. Then I have a few questions. We are removing one item. We're removing 10F for Chapter 47, correct?
10F is going to be removed, yes.
Okay, so I guess when you will announce that we're voting for, you'll have to say that.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, good. Then on the file bank, right? So if I understand this correctly, we're paying 1 cent per megabyte of storage. So if we store whatever, many gigabytes, that's a lot of dollars. And no matter whether we request something or not request something, printed, scanned, we pay 1 cent for every megabyte that they store. Okay. I admit I didn't do competitive analysis, but it sounds like a lot. One page could easily be a megabyte. One box could be like 2,000 pages easily. So that's a lot. So this is that. 1 second. We're approving the pension plan, item 10PP. A question. Of course, I didn't have time to read the full resolution, the full thing. Are there any changes on the pension plan administration between now and last year? On the 403B administration? I hope not.
There was, I believe, 1 or 2 changes. It's based on contracts that have been approved and based in regards to what the board has approved for certain employees' 403B plans.
Okay.
And the 403B is not the pension, it's your, it's almost like a 450, it's a 403B, it's like 401K is
Right.
a similar one in private.
Okay. Windows that we're going to replace. I hope we're not replacing Windows in the new parts of middle schools, right?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, last but not least, comments on policies. Do I do it now or later? Okay, so policy 2415.05. I know I did not have questions about this policy when we discussed it in the first reading. Then somebody asked me to look carefully because there was a controversy about this policy in another school district. So 1 second, let me just pull out exactly the questions I want to say. So this is a policy about student surveys. So the current policy has 8 protected information surveys. The proposed policy has 7. One proposed category of surveys that disappeared is religious practices, affiliations, or beliefs of the students or parents. So what does it mean? That they can now do surveys about religious practices, affiliations, and not tell parents about it?
Just give me a minute while he's looking at it.
I'm sorry, Jen, what?
Just give Nick a second, he's looking at it.
Sure. Mhm.
So just religious practices came out, but that's what you're.
Yes, this is my first question, that it came out. Why? What happened with religious practices?
You know what, it was just the recommendation when it came from
Yeah, it
Strauss
wasn't in
Esme.
the, I was just reviewing their summary to
Yeah.
see if Strauss Esme had identified that as a problem area,
Yeah.
or, and they don't address it.
I had reached out to John, our Comegno, our other attorney, not Jeff, about this, so we're still waiting for a response back on that. So for now, we can always either, you could table this second reading of this one, or we can approve it, and then when he gives us our answer, if we need to change it, we could change it. So however the board would like to handle it, I don't have an issue either way.
Can I take, Gina, I'm not sure, do I need a motion to table it?
No, why don't we just,
I could just
hold
table it.
No, yeah, just hold it.
I'll just pull it,
Pull it.
the second one, and then when we get a response back, we can look at, we've been in hiring mode 24/7, so when we get a response back on this one, we'll fill the board in, and then we can put this second reading back on in July with more information.
Okay, thank you. I am done.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other board members I missed? No? Okay. I have a motion to approve the prior minutes.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Baldowski.
Yes.
Ms. Quackenbush.
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg.
Yes.
Mr. Itkin.
I abstain.
Ms. Velovich.
Yes.
Mr. Banta.
Yes. I have a motion for items 5A through E.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Rosenberg.
Yes.
Mr. Itkin.
I abstain on item 5C, like cat. Yes on everything else.
Ms. Quackenbush.
Yes.
Ms. Velovich.
We're doing two, correct?
Was that 5A through?
5A through E.
Yes.
Mr. Baldowski
Yes.
and Mr. Banta.
Yes. I have a motion for 6A through E. Wait a minute, is this the board thing? Yeah, you have to abstain on your own name on 6A3. So could I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Itkin.
I abstain on myself on item 6A3, yes on everything else.
Ms. Velovich.
I abstain on 6A3 with my name, everything else, yes.
Mr. Baldowski.
Abstain on 6A3 of my name, everything else, yes.
Ms. Quackenbush.
Abstain on 6A3 with my name, but yes on everything else.
Mr. Rosenberg.
Staying on 6A3 with my name. Yes on everything else.
And Mr. Banta.
Abstain on my name on 6A3, and yes on everything else. All right. Can I have a motion for 7A through N, please?
So moved.
Second.
A roll call, please.
Mr. Itkin.
Yes.
Ms. Velovich.
Yes.
Ms. Quackenbush.
Abstain on 7E6, yes on everything else.
Mr. Baldowski.
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Rosenberg,
Yes.
and Mr. Banta.
Yes. All right. Motion on 8A through G, please.
So moved.
Second.
Have a roll call, please.
Ms. Fay-Belovich,
Can you come back to me, please?
Ms. Quackenbush? Mr. Itkin,
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Baldowski,
Yes.
Ms. Fay-Belovich,
Yes.
and Mr. Banta.
Yes. A motion for 9A and B, please.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, did I ask for a roll call? No, okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Itkin,
Yes.
Ms. Fay-Belovich,
Yes.
Mr. Baldowski,
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Quackenbush,
Yes.
and Mr. Banta.
Yes. Okay, on 10, we are pulling 10F. So I have a motion on 10A through, wow, the Greek alphabet's down here. SS.
So moved.
Second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Baldowski,
No on 10J, yes on everything else.
Mr. Itkin,
Okay, abstain on 10P like Peter. 1 second. We're putting 10F. 1 second. No on 10HH. Abstain on 10PP. Yes on everything else.
Ms. Quackenbush,
Yes.
Ms. Fay-Belovich,
Abstain on 10EE, and no on 10HH and 10PP. Yes on everything else.
and Mr. Banta.
Yes. Okay, could I have a motion for 10A without 2415.05, but all the other ones?
So moved.
Second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
We're good. Next
Mr. Rosenberg,
time. Yes.
Mr. Baldowski,
Yes.
Mr. Itkin,
Yes.
Ms. Fay-Belovich,
Yes.
Ms. Quackenbush, and Mr. Banta.
Yes. And that concludes the agenda portion of the item, agenda portion of the meeting. I now open the meeting to public comments on other business. If you'd like to come up and make a comment, please step up, state your name, and sign in. Seeing none. Do we have anybody in the ether? Okay, nobody online. Okay, and then I'll turn it over to the board. Comments on other business. Rita?
So I was looking at our curriculum, and I have a couple of questions. One question is, we have Visual Basic as one of our language that we use for programming, and the only time we teach JavaScript is an AP course, and I think we should be teaching JavaScript as well as without an AP course. Such as statistics, we have AP and we have regular. For calculus, we have regular calculus, and then we have AB, BC. And Java, an AP computer science is very rigorous, but we can start from the basic Java. It doesn't have to be an AP student in order to learn how to code. So I was wondering if that would be something that the administration can consider, because I think JavaScript is 70% of the programming language that most people use is JavaScript. Visual Basic, I asked several of my friends, and none of them said that they used this in the past couple of years. So I was thinking maybe we can adapt our curriculum to what the real world, whatever, actually needs, if that can be considered.
Thank you for your comment. I will bring your comment back to Dr. Lacatina is not here tonight, unfortunately, our Assistant Superintendent of Education, but I will bring your comment back to the administration.
Thank you. Another thing is, I looked at the technology curriculum, and the district has, from grades 1 through 4, we have pretty good technology, but then I couldn't find anything from 5 to 8, grades 5 to 8. I'm not sure if it's in a different section, or I'm not sure how it is. So I was wondering if there is a technology curriculum and maybe forgot to upload it, or maybe it's just in somewhere that I can't find. Maybe there a way to make it easier to find.
All right, once again, I will speak with Dr. Lagatina about the curriculum questions.
And last question for the curriculum. I couldn't find the gifted and talented curriculum on our website. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong section, obviously, could be, but I was wondering if it could be like a tab. Like I was looking at other districts where it says tab, you have technology for elementary, which is great,
Yeah.
and it would be cool if you would have, if you could have gifted and talented grades 1 through 4.
Gifted and talented tab is under district information. No, sorry.
No, I mean
department.
on the curriculum, like what is
On the curriculum.
on the curriculum website.
So, as far as it relates to the curriculum, I mean, we're talking about an individualized, differentiated program of what we're offering them. But
like
what I will do is, I will take all three of your questions, and I will refer them back to Dr. Lagatina, and she can report back to the Education Committee on them.
one more thing, can the board get like somehow a report saying how many kids have been using tutor.com for the past?
Yeah, I actually do have that. It's actually great. I'm going to give you all the students' comments as well. So I'll send that hopefully over the next couple of weeks on how well tutor.com is going. Their comments are like amazing and so heartwarming to see. The hours, the specific subjects that they're tapping into from high school to middle school and stuff like that. So yeah, I will share that with the board in the next couple of weeks or so.
And last question is, does the district have a health fair for high school kids and middle school
A
kids?
health plan?
A health fair.
A health fair? I'm not sure if we had a health fair, but I think it's something that we've talked about, like either a health and wellness fair.
Yeah.
It was something that we were considering in the future.
Oh,
So,
okay,
yeah.
sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You all done, Rita?
Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you. Anybody else? Vlad?
Okay, so we now switch to board docs, and that's good. I like board docs. I have to admit I'm not, how do I say it? Not that I like it so far, but I believe I will like it once I really get used to it.
Good. I think.
Now,
It does take some getting used to.
now, having said that, with switch to board docs, we completely abandoned paper, and I feel like it was a little bit too abrupt.
Good.
So I'm not sure if I can suggest it or make a motion. Maybe we can still print, let's say, 10 copies of the agenda, and maybe print copies of the agenda for board if somebody among the board requested. And don't spend money on couriers, please. Don't send it to us with a courier. We can stop by the office and grab a printout.
Oh, I don't have a comment on that.
We need to make
The-
a motion for that?
Uh,
Or like even like policies, they're very hard, like they're not PDFs, so it's easier if it could be printed out for us.
Well, I haven't had any problem reading anything on board docs. And I'm going to say something, and then you can make whatever motion you want, Vlad. But we made a decision to go to board docs. We wanted to cut back on paper. You want to make 10 copies, there's 4 people here. There's no reason to be making paper when we don't have to. It's all right here on a computer, it's on your phone, it's on my desktop at home, I can get it on my iPad. There's no reason to be making copies, hundreds of pages of copies. It's just, it's not necessary. We switched to board docs to save paper. So that's my opinion. Vlad, you want to make a motion? Go right ahead.
Okay, I'm making a motion to print 5 copies for the public, and if a board member wants to print out, just
I would, if you don't mind, am I allowed to? Well, I already bring a couple extra copies for the public every meeting just in case somebody needs an accommodation. So I do, because I know that was asked at the last meeting. So if somebody did request one, do it on accommodation, I always have a couple with me, just in case. So if you want to, just make your motion on for the board, because I'm already doing that. So that's your call, though, it's your motion. I just want to let you know that I have them with me all the time for somebody in the public if they were having a hard time.
but you have it here, not there, right?
Because if they ask for it and they need an accommodation, I hand it to them. But I'm not just going to put 3 out, or 5 or 10 and 20 people are here and they grab it. I hold on to them because if somebody is struggling, I give it to them. But it's your motion, however you want to say it.
You,
Make some motion?
No.
you,
Wait, hold on, Vlad. You want to hold off on the motion, let Rita talk first?
Sure.
Okay.
So is there a way at least we can have like a sign that says if you need a paper copy, please come up and get one, at least so that most people know, because not everybody knows that you have them.
We will,
At least make
I-
a sign or something.
you know what? I'm not even going to comment because I think we've invested a lot of money in this product. The board spoke about it numerous times in committees. It was something we wanted to do. As a board that you agreed to, you all voted on it. You all spent a lot of money on it. And now you want to spend more money on paper. This is something we're doing here. So I'm really not sure because we want to save money, but then we want to spend money. We want to save manpower, but then we want to use it. So, you know what? Just make your motion, however you want to do it, and
My
however.
other question is there a way we can at least get copies if a board member requests a copy for the policies or the
We had this
Unfortunately,
discussion
I don't-
last week,
I know,
Rita.
So my question is before he makes a motion, so I think his motion should be, at least, I'm not saying how you should do your motion, but this is I feel. If a board member requests, not every single meeting, but if we have policy or we have what's it called, the budget, and we need something to be printed out just for that, that's all I'm gonna ask. Not every single month meeting, but if we have policies, which is thousands of pages to read, if we can get a printed copy, if a board member requests it and they have to pick it up themselves so there's no courier. And we're paying less than 0.003 for each page. So it's not gonna cost the district more than maybe $4 or $5, the most. So I don't understand why we're having such a big problem with $4 or $5 to spend on a $110 million budget.
Well, I'm interested to hear you say that a few dollars don't matter, number one. Number two, we made a decision, and now 2 meetings in a row, you would like that decision overturned specifically for your issue. Okay, done talking about it. Vlad, you want to make a motion?
Sure.
Oh, all right, Cindy, go ahead. And we won't have to talk about it after you make the motion. Go ahead. Oh, don't crosstalk. Don't crosstalk.
Okay.
Vlad, make
So-
your motion.
Thank you. I'm making a motion that we stay with board docs as is, and we also print 5 copies for the public. And if a board member asks for a printed copy, then the copy shall be printed and available for pickup at the offices.
A board member, if they need it.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, the board docs thing is just extraneous. You want to make clear, it's not going to get rid of board docs.
Right.
Okay.
Can I also, is it just the agenda or is it the agenda and the attachments?
And the attachments.
All right, we're clear on the motion? We'll let John finish writing it.
Let's allow it for board members as requested.
Yes.
I have a motion, I need a second.
Second?
Second.
Okay, got a second? All right. Call the roll when you get a chance, John.
Mr. Baldowski,
Abstain.
Ms. Favolovich,
Yes.
Mr. Itkin,
Yes.
Ms. Quackenbush, Mr. Rosenberg,
No.
and Mr. Banther.
No.
All right, motion failed.
Motion failed. Okay, thank you. Any other board members' comments or questions? Seeing
Yes,
none.
I do.
Oh, Mike,
Sorry.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. A couple things. First of all, congratulations to all of the Fairlawn High School students that moved up and all of the fourth graders going into middle school and the eighth graders going into high school. I really enjoyed last year and this year the luxury of being able to attend many of the moving up ceremonies as my school year ended earlier. And it was really nice this year, after COVID and everything else, that to see everything more normalized, everything back to the way it was and better. We have very, very talented kids in this district. On the negative, something came up tonight, and it's really making me think. I've been on this board for about 15 years. And I've seen the rise of social media. I've seen what it's done to our kids. I've seen what it does to adults. It brings out the worst. If incidents happen, before you put it on Facebook, get all the facts, especially when it has to do with kids. Before you threaten board members with not being reelected, if you don't want me to be on this board, I won't be on this board. I don't care. I really don't care. I will tell you that I invite anybody, you have till the last Monday in July, to come on the board. All you have to do is print out a petition. I almost printed out my petition today to get it signed, and I didn't. Because I have to think about it. I want to think about whether my family has to go through reading stuff about me when I'm one of 9 people. I want to know what happened to Fairlawn. I really want to know what happened to Fairlawn. But I will tell you that I've put my heart and soul into this board for 15 years. And it's kind of sad because I'm thinking it might be my last. So, thank you, everybody. But think about what you're writing. Think about what it does to kids. And all kids have a chance. Thank you, Mr. Banta.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion to recess into closed session?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you in July.